What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Boozy here. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully, you guys having a good start to the week. Hopefully, your Mondays are going well. In today's video, we got a bunch of news here in regards to some upcoming events starting tomorrow. I'm going to break it down for you guys here so it's more digestible for you guys. So first up, first little bit of news here. On this Tuesday, August 11th, we're planning to launch a extra legendary event for Sacred Shards, guys. If you're already familiar with the mechanics, if you summon a legendary champion from the Sacred Shard during this event, you'll get a different one, extra one from the same shard. It works only once per event. So you guys know the drill, guys. If you guys pull a legendary champion from a Sacred Shard, that's one of these big bad yellow guys here, you will get a extra legendary. Honestly, this is one of the most exciting events, especially if you pull a legendary champion. And the actual expected rate of legendaries is actually higher during this event if you manage to pull a legendary. Now, that is the big problem if you pull a legendary, because the chances are only 6% chance of pulling a legendary. If you don't pull a legendary, meaning if you run out of Sacred Shards and you don't pull a legendary, then you'll never realize your expected value, which makes this event a total bust. So who is, potentially pulling for this event? Somebody that is deep into Mercy. When I mean deep into Mercy, I'm talking like 20 Sacred Shards since your last legendary champion. I would feel a little bit better with that kind of pulling rate, because after 12 Sacred Shards here, you get an additional 2% boost on every pull, which means it goes from 6 to 8 to 10, 12 to 14, etc. So for example, on your 21st shard, you're getting about 16% chance of pulling a legendary. I mean, it's still not great when you put it that way, right? Excuse my math, it should be 22%. Still not good. So if you're pulling, make sure you're high into Mercy. The other thing that you should consider is that make sure you have a lot of Sacred Shards, because you need to absorb the bad RNG and make sure that you actually pull a legendary from this event. So that's the second thing. You need a big stash of Sacred Shards. And also you need Sacred Shards to complete events. So you need even bigger. So you need to compensate for, bad RNG, as well as having enough of a cushion so that you can participate in other events. Generally speaking, if you just have 1 or 2 Sacred Shards, I would probably still hold them. There's no other event running alongside the Sacred Shard event. So if you're pulling Sacreds, you're not getting value towards something else like a fusion or another event. You're literally just gambling, right? So these are events that you can definitely skip. Very small percentage of people, should pull for this based on the parameters that I just laid out. But if you're pulling, best of luck. There are some events running alongside of this, but they're not events where you're getting guaranteed value. Let's go over day one. So on Tuesday, there's actually another event happening. There's actually a progressive event. These usually happen on Tuesday and Wednesday. We do have non-personal reward CVC happening on Tuesday, guys. If you guys are around on YouTube, I will be streaming non-personal reward CVC. I usually stream during CVC, so once every 2 weeks. If you're around, make sure you guys pop on by. Now, we do have a progressive event happening on the first day. This is day 1. And then we also have a progressive event happening on day 2. So day 1 here, we got one of the brand new champions here from the Argonites, Pelagus. I pulled this guy on my alt account. I haven't finished building him out yet. I think he'll be a fine champion for like faction wars for this Argonite faction when it opens. It does have a pretty strong single target kind of disable. Block passives and enfeeble with its full turn meter steel is very strong against a single target. Obviously, you're not going to be able to go through like Stone Skin and Mercurial with this, but if the target is wide open, this is a pretty strong disable. He will be able to help himself though with the full enemy strip with a decreased speed and weaken. Pretty good ability. And he does have a pretty big speed in all battles, or 115 base speed also makes him quite fast. Up next, we have Venelicia. Venelicia, also a very, very strong champion. A nice mix of debuffs with the block buffs and decreased defense, as well as a team revive. So pretty decent mix here. He also has weaken on the A1. Good champ overall. The other champ here that actually might get a lot of attention is actually Glacea. Glacea is very, very good. Ever since her buff, making her well more adjusted to handling this role, where she basically comes in and helps against lockout champions. She can't be put on cooldown, and then she has a 50% chance of denying cooldown effects. Whenever enemies attempts to lock her out, she also freezes them, and she also gets an instant turn. She comes in with a strip or a enemy freeze with the block debuffs. Pretty good support abilities here. I like her. I do use her quite a bit, especially if I see somebody like, Fabian, for example. Really wish I had the Chrono Cube relic so I can get her in with the extra turn. Having these abilities go back to back is very, very strong. You come in with the full enemy strip and then you come in with a full enemy freeze. Very, very strong combo. But yeah, I don't have that, but it's still useful champion. Up next, we do have Hellcath from the Demon Spawn. Hellcath, very strong, especially if you're just progressing through the game. Yeah, 4 turn block damage can be used for clan boss if you're working through clan boss. And then this ability here on 3 turn cooldown, big shield, big AoE attack, very decent. And then A1 weaken. Lastly, for the non voids, we got Theodore from the Night Revs again. Theodore is still pretty useful. I mean, he'll definitely drag you through like normal dungeons, like dragon, like ice golem, very, very good. Increased speed right here, and then he's got decreased speed A1, very useful. Even if you're progressing through the game, maybe somewhere like Hydra could be useful. Increased speed, decreased speed is very useful, like I said. He does bring the poison igniter. So like I said, for normal ice golem, it could be used for hard spider, for example. Still a very good champion. Obviously not as good in hard dungeons, but still a good champ. And then to the Void champions here, we have one of the champions that actually got boosted up by the new Provoke news, and that's going to be Gaspard here. Gaspard, very strong champion, incredibly busted A1, AoE, decrease attack, and weaken. It's crazy, 75% chance on both. This ability is also very good on a 3 turn cooldown. It's an AoE Provoke with increased defense and a shield. Very strong ability. And then this ability, incredibly strong on a 3 turn cooldown. Single target with built-in ignore defense. Also a block revive on this ability. And this ability triggers off of his passive when an ally dies or when your enemy revives somebody. So yeah, very, very strong. He also has a secondary passive here with the turn meter boost and fill if he kills somebody. Good champ. Definitely a high threat champion. And then up next we have from the Ogren tribes, probably the best Ogren in the game is going to be Classic Keyhole. Crazy, crazy power creep here in terms of just his overall kit. A1 True Fear against bosses, very nice with a transfer debuff. His A2 crazy ability on 3 turn cooldowns, an AoE double hit, decreased defense, weaken, decreased accuracy, decreased resistance, 4 debuffs on a 3 turn cooldown AoE attack from a Void champion. Need I say more, right? And then his A3 also equally busted, 4 turn cooldown, full counterattack, full unkillable on everybody, and then taunt on himself. Yeah, just crazy. His passive also brings some good damage, similar to Hex, a little bit of enemy max HP damage. Base stats, not too crazy or anything like that, but yeah, he's just a crazy champion. He's not going to die very easily. And lastly, for the Void champions on day 1, we have Insenza Grail Bearer. She's a very good champion. I have her. Yeah, great for probably for Hydra mainly, right? She got an A1 decrease attack, good with the Hex set, for example. She's got this single target poison cloud, increased speed, continuous heal, and a big turn meter boost. So it's kind of good on like single target big damage dealers like Trunda, like Titus, those type of teams. And then she comes in with a 3 turn AoE decreased defense and weaken. Very decent. The way I play her is I run her 9-piece protection. So then you can use this and get 3 buffs on a single target. So that's 15% damage. And then, yeah, you run her in like a Titus or Trina team. You could also run her in like a Hex set. She does bring AoEs on her A1 and then her A3. So you can give her like a Hex set so she can land Hex for you as well. Pharaoh could also work because she lands 3 different debuffs, so that's 15% additional damage for your whole team. But still a very good champion. She's also Void Affinity, so she doesn't run into affinity issues. So if you're planning to pull Sacred Shards for that extra sacred or legendary event, maybe these progressive champions will give you an extra bit of enticement. I mean, keep in mind that pulling one of these non-void legendaries, it's about 5% chance, 5 and 5 or so on these boosted events. It's not significant, but it's better chance than not having it. If I were to pull Sacred Shards, I'm not going to pull Sacred Shards even though I have 40 Sacred Shards. I would probably pull for Glycea. Alicia is also very nice. But I think any of these champions, if you pull them, if you're progressing through the game, they'll be very good. For the Void champions, we don't have an event for Void Shards or anything like that. But the best, all 3 of these Void champions are the best. I would say Gaspard. Obviously, will be the best for PvP, and then if you're going for PvE, Klazag, very good there. But Incenza is definitely not a slouch in terms of quality either. All right, moving on. This is day 2 now. Let's talk about day 2 a little bit here. We have a different progressive event. Same rules apply. Different champions here. First up, we have Dax, the King Killer. I did put a showcase video on this champion. It's actually quite decent. He comes in with a double hit AoE, decrease defense, decrease speed, enemy max HP hit on a 3-turn cooldown. When you like package all that up, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. He doesn't hit as hard as Marius because obviously it's only a double hitter versus a triple hitter. But hey, he's got relevant debuffs here. And yeah, they're really, really nice. Good for PvE content. It also has a single target decreased attacks, 100% chance to land. Again, very good for boss content. And then he does self buff with increased defense, increased speed, and ally protection on a 3-turn cooldown. These buffs will be for everybody. Again, very solid support champion. His passive here protects him a little bit, decreases damage a little bit. He's also immune to pain link debuffs, which don't happen too often, and he's immune to reflect damage, which makes him, for example, immune to like the ram head from the Chimera. I did test him against the Chimera. It wasn't too impressive, and I don't think he does enough damage to be your main damage dealer for Chimera. But you guys can take a look at the showcase, and you guys can be a judge for yourselves. Still a good champion if you pull him early or anything like that. Very good for overall progression. Up next, we have Amok, the first satrap from the Lizardmen. I got some supporters for Amok here. I think he's a cool looking toad dude. Brings some good debuffs here. Also, his A1 brings Leech. And then he has this cool ability here on a 4-turn cooldown. He plays block debuffs on everybody with a little bit of a heal. He also cleanses off some debuffs and then flips them into positive buffs, which can be a pretty big kind of swing ability. Personally, I find him useful maybe in general content, but obviously his kit kind of screams, Chimera Trials champion maybe, but I haven't seen him get used in Chimera Trials that often. But yeah, you guys let me know in the comments below if you guys have any crazy uses for Amok here. I think he's an okay champ. He has an interesting kit, but for me, not a main champion or anything like that. And then up next we have from the Barbarians, we have Thor Feyhammer. I think Thor recently is being offered for brand new players on some kind of promo code or something, which is crazy because Thor is like, yeah, just a crazy damage dealer. He has an A1 double hit, potentially quad hit here with a turn meter drop. This is very good against even just something like normal Fire Knight. Right, so just general wave stuff. The decreased turn meter is actually very strong. His A1 hits pretty hard too. His A2 is his big AoE hit. Yeah, big damage here, goes through block damage unkillable, really strong on a 3-turn cooldown. And he does bring AoE decreased speed with self buffs on his A3. This one doesn't hit as hard as his A2, but he does self buff with the decreased speed, which is very, very nice. And his passive here with passive AoE stuns and also passive AoE damage just makes him, a really, really good damage dealer, especially over time. So just a strong damage dealer for places like Hydra, for example. And then he does come in with attack in all battles. Also, really, really good damage dealer. Obviously, for a brand new player, you're not going to get the max damage out of him, but to have him in your roster ready to be built, he's going to help you out in so many areas of the game. Up next on day 2, we have Firo. Firo, this champion, the Barkhorn, very strong champion, especially for damage boosting your team. His passive here, if you're under 4 or more buffs, increase damage by 20%. So that's really good. Put him in a 9-piece protection set. You got 2 more buffs here, or you go in with the Pharaoh set, and then you got 15% more damage from the 3 debuffs. Both of those sets will work on Firo here. Also bringing increased resistance, perfect veil, 2 uncommon buffs, which are really good for like trials and stuff like that. Just a really, really good champion, great support champion. Eluded me for many years. I still want this guy. And then what's next here? We got Nekmothar. Nekmothar, also a very good champion from the Lizardmen. This guy was a guaranteed champion back in the day. I think he was 15 sacred shards way, 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 way back. It might have been less, actually, now that I remember. Maybe it was 12. But definitely, he was one of the first. Anyways, this champion's crazy in terms of just being like the champion you build around for specific teams. Really good for dungeons, even useful for like arena. But I think his main spot is going to be Hydra, speed in all battles. He's got turn meter boost, increased speed, decrease speed, leech. These are very important for Hydra. Increase speed and decrease speed. Leech is also very good. And then decrease attack. If you're progressing through Hydra, decrease attack is very important just to keep your team alive. This guy's got it all. It's just crazy stuff. Just make him go fast. Relentless set, refresh, impulse. So he gets more of this turn meter boosting. Very, very good champion to build your teams around. And then lastly, this is the last non-void champion. Pretty good non-void champions here on day 2. For the void champions, sticking with the Lizardmen here, we got Fidey, Teal Crest. Again, very strong champion. Got an A1 team heal. A little bit of a turn meter boost. His A2 very good on a 3-turn cooldown. It's an AoE attack, strip with a block buffs, decrease speed, and a turn meter boost. There's a lot going on here. This is probably one of the best enemy strip abilities probably in the game, I would say. Odin's definitely up there as well with a stun decrease defense, but this one brings 2 debuffs, which are good. Not as good as stun, but it also brings a turn meter fill for 15%. So very, very strong. And then his A3, another really strong ability on a 4-turn cooldown, increased resistance and imperfect veil. Again, 2 not so common buffs. But he has the cooldown reduction here by 3 turns. Great ability at boosting damage, especially if you're running those big Titus or Trunda teams. And he's Void Affinity, so you're not going to have affinity issues. Incredibly strong champion. I would love this champion. It would be a direct upgrade over like Owella, for example, in my Titus teams. But yeah, very good champion. And then we have Tunisia from the Skinwalkers. Now, the big thing about Tunisia is that she does empower Marius. So that's the big thing here. So obviously, Krakens that want to power up Marius, if they get Tunisia, that's where she's going. Decreased defense, A1, AoE HP burn, potential line stun or decreased speed, and then a single target smack here. She's okay. I mean, the AoE HP burn can be useful, for places like Hydra if you're progressing through. For some reason, her attack HP burn actually goes through Poison Cloud, which is a bit weird, but hey, it works. But otherwise, yeah, she's mainly just used to empower Marius. And then lastly, also from the Lizardmen, it's going to be Mr. Krisk. Love this guy, the unofficial Ninja Turtle, but yeah, he brings a lot, especially with the update to Provoke. Maybe we'll see him a little bit more useful in like Arena, perhaps. Really need some better speed on this guy. It's time to +5 speed this guy. I know his kit doesn't need any kind of boosting or anything like that, and it kind of makes sense, lore-wise, maybe for him to be slow. He's got a heavy shield on. I don't know, a heavy shell on. But yeah, crazy champion. Got lots of stuff going on. Got the A1 decreased speed, AoE, and he's got the AoE ally protection, continuous heal, and then he's got an AoE provoke with more buffs, and then debuffs on his passive with the big shield to start off the fight. Lovely champion, great champion to build in any kind of PvE content. And if you're, and you can definitely use this guy in arena, especially starting out. It's not going to be in any kind of, late game or end game kind of arena teams or arena rosters, but he's going to be still very useful at helping you through arena in the beginning. Now for day 2, if I was pulling my Sacred Shards, there's a lot of champions here that could be useful. Obviously, for my account, I would love a Furo. A Side X would be pretty cool to just play around with. But Furo would be really, really good. Any one of these champions would be pretty good. I would say Amok would still be the worst. And it's kind of by far the worst because the other champions are just so much stronger. And then for the Void champions, I mean, Fidey and Krisk are like 2 of the best from the Lizardmen. Either one of those guys would be amazing for PvE content. Tunisia, definitely, a couple steps behind the other 2. But if you're just looking for Maria's food, then she's going to be the one. All right, and that's going to be it. So we got the extra legendary from Sacred Shards, and then we have the 2 different progressive events. You guys let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Are you guys planning to pull for that extra legendary Sacred Shard event? Like I said, guys, best to hold. I know it's tough. Best to hold, though. We do have that Wizard of Oz collab coming up. It's the period in between the fusions, which means that Plarium is just going to throw all these juicy events at us, try to drain all of our resources. So definitely a good time just to hold on to your resources and just wait for more kind of guaranteed reward events. Anyways, guys, you guys let me know in the comments below. Hopefully you guys have a good Monday, good start to your week and all that. Thanks for watching until the end, guys. Appreciate you all. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.